Yo, what's cracking everyone? Ericship 111 here, and welcome to another episode of the Hot Lap Battle. And in this video we are putting two of the fastest and most powerful cars ever created. On one hand we've got the Bugatti VEYRON Supersport and the other the Koenigsegg REGERA. Now I understand that both these cars were built not to really take corners the quickest, but to smash top speed records, which is why it will be very interesting to see with all that horsepower just how fast these two cars can go around a track. Both these cars are classed at S2, with the Regera slightly edging the Bugatti by 5 points at 939. But looking at the stats given by Forza Horizon 3, it's interesting that the VEYRON beats the Regera in speed, acceleration and launch by a significant amount, but the handling and brakes are in the favor of the Regera. But honestly, these stats don't matter much anyways, and looking at the real numbers of the cars, both these cars easily surpass the 1000 brake horsepower mark, but the VEYRON is down by over 300 brake horsepower to the Regera's humongous 1500 brake horsepower. The Bugatti VEYRON also produces less torque and is heavier by nearly 500 pounds. So looking at the numbers, the VEYRON is in a huge disadvantage, but the VEYRON does consist of all-wheel drive, which will be interesting to see how much better the VEYRON can grip as opposed to the Regera during some corners. Okay, now that I have introduced you guys both these cars, let's take it out to our test track for a spin and also clock a hot lap. First up, the Bugatti VEYRON Supersport. Okay, so I'm in the Bugatti VEYRON Supersport right now, and off the line there's not much wheel spin at all, obviously thanks to the all-wheel drive system that the VEYRON possesses. And right now I'm coming to the first significant corner of this lap now, and I can immediately feel that the VEYRON doesn't handle very well thanks to the weight of the car. It's so heavy, and because of the all-wheel drive system, the VEYRON does suffer a little bit with understeer, and therefore I have to brake very hard. And here, coming out from a corner, I'm going full throttle. I just want to see how much power it can handle, and obviously there is a bit of power sliding involved, but that's to be expected for a car that produces around about 1200 brake horsepower. But in terms of speed, when it's coming out from a corner and accelerating, I don't really feel that the VEYRON is that quick for a car with all-wheel drive and very prominent acceleration. According to Forza Horizon 3, I do believe that the Wayra BC, the McLaren P1 or the LaFerrari is just as quick when it comes to reaching those speeds. Now obviously if we go a bit further, the Bugatti VEYRON can reach to a top speed of over 260 miles per hour, which is much faster than any of those cars that I mentioned. But for a short track like this, I don't know how fast it can really be, and it'll be interesting to see what hot lap it can clock. So now it's time for the hot lap. With the Bugatti VEYRON Supersport clocking a very decent time of 53.8 seconds, can the Koenigsegg REGERA come close or even beat the VEYRON's time? Let's find out. Okay, so I'm in the Koenigsegg REGERA right now, and off the line you can see that the Regera is full of character, and I almost lost control just then. But all the Koenigsegg's in Forza Horizon 3 is quite difficult to control, especially around a track with traction control turned off, simply because they just possess so much power. And as we reach through the straight now, The Regera is so quick. I believe it's just as quick as the 1-to-1, even though it weighs much heavier than the 1-to-1. This is because of the hybrid system that the Regera possesses, and it's also a unique car because it only has one gear, so you have to kind of readjust the way you drive, not having to shift down or up, and going through the corners just by feathering the throttle. And again, with a car like this, you definitely want to have a very sensible pedal, because if you don't, you're just going to end up wheel spinning and losing time when exiting a corner. But if you straighten out your car enough and you reach a certain speed at about 110 or 120 miles per hour, you can go full throttle with no problems whatsoever. But if your car is still sideways and you accelerate at that speed, yeah, you're definitely going to be doing some drifting. And with that said, overall the Regera is still a nice car to drive. It's just that when I look at the way I'm driving, it doesn't feel very fast because the car isn't revving high at all, and it just seems like I'm gliding or cruising through all the corners. But in reality, I'm trying to corner with as much throttle as possible without losing control. Anyways, it's now time for the Regera to do the hot lap. With the Regera clocking a time of 52.7 seconds, a whole second faster than the Bugatti VEYRON Supersport. It's interesting to note that even though the Regera was more of a technological showcase, showing off their hybrid engine and their development, I feel that the Regera still has a little bit of 1-to-1 DNA in the Regera. That's why it was still able to clock a very decent lap time around our track. Just to remind you guys that anything that I say is referring to the cars that are portrayed in Forza Horizon 3. They may be different in real life, but just take everything I say with a grain of salt if you want to compare it to its real life counterpart. Anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this hot lap battle. If you guys would like to see more hot lap battles, make sure to give this video a like, and if you want to see more Forza Horizon 3 content done by me, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.